Welcome and thank you for joining us this morning for Issues and Views, Buffalo, New York's weekly public affairs program focusing on topics and concerns that affect you and your community. We hope the information you hear today is beneficial to you. Now here's your Issues and Views host.
This is Porsha Ari, and this is Issues and Views, and we have a special guest today. I'm sitting here with Sharon. You know what, Sharon, I'll let you introduce yourself first.
Well, hello, Porsha. My name is Sharon Sanford. My friends call me Sadie, and I'm here representing my not-for-profit organization, Sadie Strong.
That's right. And Sadie is a very special guest. And Sadie, I'm not going to call you Sadie because that's your nickname. So, Sharon, just to be correct, we have a lot to talk about because you have an event coming up, and this event is actually part of an organization that you started that was birthed from your own experiences. And before we dive completely into everything that's going to be happening on Saturday, October 5th, I'm really interested in learning more about your story. But just so you know, because you want to grab a pen, you want to be here on Saturday, October 5th, and it's going to be held at the Family Life Center. Correct?
Yes, the Reverend Dr. Bennett W. Smith Family Life Center at 833 Michigan Avenue in Buffalo.
That's right. And what you'll be going to is the Community Health and Wellness Fun Day. And there's a lot you can expect there. We're going to go more into it. But just so you know, because you want to go, I'm telling you, there will be line dancing, health screenings, an Ask a Doctor workshop, some yoga, Zumba, healthy eating, a whole lot more. And guess what? It's completely free. It's for the community. It's for you. But this didn't just come out of nowhere. This didn't just come out of the clear blue sky. We got here some way, Sharon. So I want you to just give us a little bit about yourself. How did Sadie Strong even come into play?
Well, on October 30th, 2017, after a routine mammogram, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it had spread to my lymph nodes. So I was in complete shock by this because no one in my family had breast cancer. No one in my close circle had breast cancer. So I was really, taken aback. Now, I'd been going for routine mammograms for years, and it was always fine. And this one time it wasn't.
So it sounds like before you even go, how important is it to go for these mammograms?
It's extremely important because I was feeling fine. Like I was going along my regular life. Actually, I was living my best life. I had just turned 50. I had
a nice party. Yeah.
I had a great party and I had all these plans and then this diagnosis. And it's like, wow, where did this come from? And so I went through a range of emotions and I was concerned. I had fear. I thought about my family. And so, it just, when things like that happen, you have to regroup and try to figure out, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So
you went for this mammogram.
Yeah, so now it becomes a series of doctor's appointments to determine what stage. And there was a period of time between there that they schedule the doctor's appointments like weeks off, and it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on here
in my body
and how am I going to handle this. So it was just really, it was a health challenge, and we all have health challenges in our life or challenges, and you have to figure out, like, how are you going to handle this? I had to tell my husband, and my children and my family, those people who love me. And it was like really a very, very tough conversation, different people. And what I found through my process is that different women handle things differently, what they share and what they don't share. But for me, it was like, okay, I need to share this because I need support.
Yeah.
I need support. I didn't feel that I could handle it alone. So when I the first thing I did is I said, God, help me.
Yeah.
I went to the source because I know that with God, all things are possible. And I know that God is a healer. I watched him heal my grandmother.
Yes.
A year before that. And so I did that. And then when I talked to my husband, he said, we have to go to grandmother's and pray right now. So we jumped in the car. We went over to my grandmother's house, and on the way I called my parents to tell them. By the time I got to my grandmother's house, my father was there, And he looked in my eyes, and it was like, that it's going to be all right. When your dad looks in your eyes to say, hey, it's going to be okay. You feel that sense of it's going to be okay. Right?
It's something about going to the elders and telling them, I don't know, but they can get a prayer through. So as soon as you said grandmother, I was like, I already know. I already get it.
Absolutely. My dad said, Jesus is on the boat.
All right.
So you don't have to worry. So we went in there and we prayed, and grandmother looked at me and she said, yes, you're going to be good.
Yeah.
I
think it's really important. I'm happy that you're sharing what this was like when you first found out, because I know there are people that are listening that have dealt with this. There are women that are familiar with this. There are women that are probably dealing with this right now, and they don't have any guidance because they may not have the support system that you had, or the relationship, or the grandmother to say, hey, we're going to talk to God about this, or, whatever your belief is. There are people that don't have someone to go to about this sort of thing. But you said something that I was really curious about. You had to tell your family. And I'm hearing you talk about yourself, but how was it when you broke the news to your husband and your kids?
It was really, really tough. My husband had known that I had the mammogram, and he knew that there was something that was abnormal. So he at least had a little bit of an idea. So when I told him, that's why he knew that we had to pray right now. My children were a little bit different, and my parents, because it really came out of nowhere. And, it really was tough. We have 3 amazing sons, and my eldest at the time was living in Florida, so he wasn't even with me to be able to hold him when he went through this, and so that was really tough. And my 2 sons who were home, just telling them, and each of them experienced it and responded in their own way, and it was tough. It was really, really a tough conversation, because you begin to think about, am I going to be here for my children to grow up? And I'm sure they were thinking the same way, when it's so close to home. So it was very, very tough. And, and I'm thinking selfishly, like my youngest son was he was in the senior year in high school, and, captain of the football team, captain of the basketball team. And, I didn't want to cause him stress, so that he couldn't perform, and and that sort of thing. It's the thing about moms, that you become more like selfless, and you kind of think about everyone around you, and so that kind of was where my focus was.
Yeah. So although you wanted to be there, did you find a hard time being there because of your concerns and how this was going to be for your children, showing up and maybe not being in the best condition health-wise or even physically? Because we're women, you and I, we both want to look good. So maybe there was some days you didn't feel like the normal Sharon, aka Sadie, that people know and love. How did you handle trying to still be mom and still try to be a part and fight and win this battle that's going on internally?
Well, once we had prayer, and I had prayer from everywhere. I had my sister circle came together, and we began to pray every Thursday morning before I had treatments, because I found out in October I started chemotherapy in December, on December 5th, and we began to pray. I had people come to my house and pray. I enlisted the prayer warriors, because prayer changes things. So you have to decide how you go through a situation. You can choose to go through a situation with your head hung down, or you can face it, and that's what I chose to do. I received a card that said, "You've been assigned this mountain to show others that it can be moved." Yes.
Wow.
And
that was for you.
That was for me. It was directly for me. And so I'm like, okay, God, I'm ready for battle. I'm ready for this battle. So, I didn't give the disease an opportunity to take me. I took it, and, I put on a smile. I wore my faith, on my face. So even when I didn't feel well, even when my hair began to fall out, even when I had those concerns, I put a smile on my face, I tied my hair up, and I went on about my business.
Yeah. You had talked to me before the show about when it got to a point where it was like, okay, my hair is doing something new. And for the record, for all of you listening out there, I had seen Sharon in public not knowing what was going on with her, and she always looked good. So she was very lucky or blessed in that sense, because she still maintained the outward appearance that so many people were familiar with and knew. And I did notice you did cut your hair, and this was before your really big chop. You know, a lot of women are familiar with the term the big chop, because that's usually when we cut the relaxer out of our hair. We're ready to wear our natural curls and our coils. But you did one cut, but it was really because you were getting in front of what you knew was down the line.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to control this. You know, I knew the doctor said that your hair is going to fall out. Your eyebrows, all of your hair, basically, based on the medication that you'll take, is going to fall out. So the first big chop was me controlling it. Mm-hmm. And so I went, and my husband was right there with me the whole time, and got my first haircut. And then I shared with people what I was going through. That was the first cut. Then on Christmas morning, like leading up to Christmas, you know, Christmas is really big at our house. Everyone comes, we have dinner, and my hair, I was noticing, you know, hair kind of falling out a little bit. But my husband would always look at me like, oh, you look great. You look great.
He was so good.
He was so good. You look amazing. And so this one particular morning, it was Christmas morning, and I was sitting at the table, and I'm really frustrated because my hair is really coming out. And he told me I looked good, and I sat there and I pulled a plug of my hair out. Wow. And showed him. And then I bust out crying. And, you know, I ran upstairs, and it was the way God moves is my brother and my mother were in from out of town, and my husband took me upstairs, sat me down, and each one of them began taking turns cutting my hair to bald.
Wow.
And it was so powerful that, you know, that I had that support at every step of this journey.
I think the support is probably one of the best things that you had as part of this experience. If we're going to try and look at the bright side, if we're going to be optimistic, the support is good. But in our conversation, and this was when you were sharing with me before about how Sadie Strong, the organization, came to be, the lack of support that you noticed from women dealing with the same thing that you were dealing with is what really touched your heart and made you say, okay, this may be what I'm called to do, or there may be something here for me to do that allows me to think beyond myself and beyond my problems and speak to other people. And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. This is just some of the things that I gather after visiting your website, which I do encourage people to go to sadiestrong.org to learn more about the organization and what she's doing here in your community. But you had mentioned being at the doctor's office, going for your appointments, and you got all these folks there with you. Your tribe is there, but you look around and
some people were alone.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, they were alone. They were waiting for rides. They didn't tell the people that were closest to them. And that's a personal choice. It's a personal choice how you go through this process. But on my first day of chemo, my husband was there. My sister flew in from out of town. My father was there because he was at every treatment. And one of my sorority sisters came in with a bag, a gift bag that had a blanket, inspirational rocks, some snacks, like books and candies, like all of the things that I needed to make it through that first chemo treatment. Yeah. I didn't even know if she knew that I was having a chemo treatment, but that just really touched my heart. And then the gifts just poured in from there.
Yeah.
Like I received cards like every week. Like it was just amazing, the outpouring of love. And one of the things my grandmother told me is that, you know, when you plant seeds of love, you'll reap a harvest. And so she was like, those were the seeds that you've been planting in everyone else. And so I'm like, wow, I want to be able to plant those seeds in other women who are going through breast cancer. And I also want to inspire like the early detection, because I know that if you detect this disease early, it's treatable. You can treat it.
Like you caught it.
Like I caught it early. Had I not had the mammogram, this may have been a different conversation. And then also, looking at the research, the importance of like healthy lifestyles, like exercise and diet, those things play an important part with not only breast cancer, but other diseases that we see all the time. We can help ourselves when it comes to our health and well-being.
Yeah. I think and this is a issue that I'd like to say people are actually trying to do more about now that they're, how they say you know better, you do better. And there's so much information that's coming about things that people of color specifically are putting in their bodies, and just things that we know from cultural norms. We all love to eat good. We love soul food. We love mama's macaroni and cheese, or how someone used to make, I don't know, just all the good stuff that we used to eat that our families probably brought up from what they made when they were in the South. Because a lot of families have migrated up north from the South, and those traditions have come with them. But sometimes they're harmful, and don't worry, I'm still working on my dietary choices, because there are some things that we've just been accustomed to, and even overeating and obesity are things that we know trouble people in this community. But to be aware of things you can do that might help you to stop your own problem when it comes to managing your health. I think that's valuable information, and there's so much that's going to be at this Community Health and Wellness Fund Day that will be able to talk and teach people who are probably not aware, are not as knowledgeable as they should be about how they can eat and how they can live a much healthier life. Like this healthy eating and meal prep seminar, that's information that's free at this event on October 5th that can help you and could possibly extend your life.
Absolutely. And the fitness component as well. So we'll have like chair yoga at the event.
Now, I didn't know you could do yoga in a chair, so I'm interested.
And see, because people, we make all sorts of excuses why we can't exercise. We can walk. Mm-hmm. We can walk. One of the things that I also did through this journey is I ran my first 5K.
Did you really?
So yeah, I always wanted to do it. Like one of the exercises that I chose to do was walking in the neighborhood. And so I'd notice how people would just jog on by me, and their little ponytail would be bopping back and forth, and I'm looking at them like, man, I really wish I could do that. And someone reached out to me, one of my sorority sisters reached out to me and offered an opportunity to participate in this Learn to Run a 5K run club.
Nice.
And so I did it, and on August 10th, I ran my first 5K.
Wow.
And did my personal best time. My goal was to run the whole way without stopping.
Did you?
And I did.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
And yes. And for some people, they might look like, oh yeah, that's awesome. You whatever.
Not me.
You did that. No, for me, it's a challenge.
Yes.
And so this experience that I've had with breast cancer stretched me in a way that it allowed me the opportunity to want to do things better for myself and for those people around me. Mm-hmm. I really want to be an inspiration to women in the community, and that's why Sadie Strong was founded. It's really, and its purpose is to promote the early detection of breast cancer and inspire healthy lifestyles. But ultimately, we want to inspire faith, hope, and love to everyone we encounter, because those are the things that people need in order to make it through whatever obstacle that life puts in their way.
Sure.
So that's what Sadie Strong is really about.
Yeah, Sadie Strong is strong. And just in this interview with you, I can see the strength. And you wanting to share that strength, is probably one of the best assets that I see from you based on this interview. And if you go to sadiestrong.org, you'll see a few of the initiatives that they are already have in place and even the ones that they are working on. And I noticed that you have a Sadie Strong Lift program. That's something that's going to be down the line, which I think is great because when Sharon mentioned being at the hospital and being with her tribe and then looking over and seeing other women that are dealing with the same sort of things alone, waiting for a ride, that inspired you to want to create some sort of transportation. And how sisterly of you, to just be this way with women you don't even know. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I know I'm right, Sadie Strong is about promoting the relationship within this community also.
Absolutely.
Women who are dealing with this thing that could happen to anyone.
The statistics say that 1 in 8 women will have breast cancer in their lifetime.
Wow. So that means of 8 friends, one of your friends. Wow.
And that's why when I was going through this, I thought about that when I heard those statistics. And I said, well, if 1 in 8 women will have breast cancer, I'll carry this torch for my sisters, for the women in my life, because clearly God knew that I was strong enough to handle it. Because that's why,
Yes.
he allowed me to go through that. And from it, something positive has to happen. And so that's why, Sadie Strong is alive now.
Yes.
Because we want to give back and really help women in the African American community who sometimes are overlooked. One of the initiatives that we have going on now are our Sadie Strong Love Boxes, which it's a labor of love based on those experiences that I received. And so women who are in early stages of their treatment can be nominated to receive a love box. We will have our nominations at the Health and Wellness Fair, as well as they'll be available on our website really soon. And we'll give these love boxes out twice a year, in October and in April when we do our annual fundraiser, the Sadie Strong Celebration of Healing. We also celebrate women cancer survivors.
Wonderful.
So I didn't realize until I shared my story that there were so many women that are really close to me that are cancer survivors as well. We don't talk about things a lot. Why
do you think that is?
I think that like we're brought up private, I think, when it comes to certain parts of our lives. And, I share my story because other people, if 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer, somebody needs to be inspired to know that, hey, go to the doctor and take care of this. I did everything, even though I believe in God and I knew that God was going to heal me. I still followed the instruction of the medical professionals, and I went through all of the treatments. So I went through chemotherapy, I went through surgery, I went through radiation, and I had to take a chemotherapy pill for 6 months after the radiation. And I did that because at least I can do my part. I know that God is going to give the increase, but it's my responsibility to do, what I can, and that's why healthy lifestyles and exercise and fitness is really important for me moving forward.
Yes.
Because I don't know why I got this. They don't know why I got it.
And you live a pretty active lifestyle.
I live an active lifestyle. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I'm a little chunky or thick, but my husband doesn't complain about that.
But you look good, girl. You look
I
good.
wear it well.
Yes, you do. Yes, ma'am.
But, we can all be better with regards to our diet and our level of fitness.
For sure. And you said something that I really, really agree with. Like, there's nothing wrong with having faith, but faith without works is dead first.
Yes.
But, and I don't mean to get too religious here, but there are medical professionals in place for a reason. Yes. Like they were given a gift to excel in their area, which became their area of expertise to help people in this area. So it goes together. You can have faith, but do what you need to do to keep yourself healthy. And if that means, look, your doctor said you got to change your diet. Your doctor said you got to get more active. the medical professionals are there to help you, not to kill you. They're not there to kill you. They're there to help you. So have faith, but do what you're supposed to do to take care of yourself at the same time. So the community health and wellness collaboration that you have on your website, that's part of what your organization, one of the initiatives of your organization, is in fact happening on Saturday, October 5th. And that starts at 10 a.m. It's from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Reverend Dr. Bennett W. Smith Senior Family Life Center. And that is at 833 Michigan Avenue in Buffalo. That's right near downtown. Actually, it's still considered downtown, I believe. Again, that's Saturday, October 5th. That means it's right around the corner. You want to make sure you're there to not only, take advantage of the really neat programs that are going to be at this event, but to support Sadie Strong, because you probably know someone that either is a breast cancer survivor or was not so fortunate to make it through. And Sharon's organization is meant to be supportive for these women and for the survivors also, just to kind of keep that network open. So be there to support, be there to participate. You have to register on Eventbrite to qualify for prizes because there are giveaways. There's also going to be a blood drive. And Sharon, you don't have to let me say everything. I just can take over sometimes.
You're good. You're good.
But there's also going to be a blood drive. Did you know that one donation can save 3 lives? Well, now you know. So you want to be there on Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. again at the Reverend Dr. Bennett W. Smith Senior Family Life Center at 833 Michigan Avenue. And you can register on Eventbrite, again, to qualify for prizes. And it'll be under SadieStrongWellnessDay.eventbrite.com. I do want to continue to send people to your website so they can learn more about you. Believe it or not, we are almost out of time for this interview. We talked about a lot, and there's so much information that Sharon has to share, and there's so much that she can offer. So before we go, I'm sure there's some more things that you want to say before we get out of here.
Yes. And if you're interested in donating to Sadie Strong, you can donate on our website at www.sadiestrong.org. And I just want to thank everyone who has been supportive thus far, because we have great partnerships, and people are really stepping up to really help in our initiatives to give back to women in the Buffalo community and in the surrounding areas, and promote the early detection of breast cancer and inspire healthy lifestyles. It begins with each one of us. It begins with each one of us. And I want to encourage all women to do monthly self-checks and get your mammogram every year. It's very, very important. It really saved my life, and I'm hoping that the initiatives that we do through Sadie Strong can help the lives of so many women.
And just before we go, how old do you need to be, because someone doesn't know this, to start getting your mammograms?
I started when I was 40. And the other piece that was a blessing for me is insurance. While I have great insurance, there are a lot of women who may use that as their reason why they don't go to the doctor or get tested. But there are so many services out there that provide free mammograms to women who can't afford them or may not have the insurance. So we will have some of those vendors at our health and wellness fair. And so we just hope that you just come out and do your part in making sure that your health is taken care of.
Sure.
And we have a great partnership with our event with Lavan Ansari and the Community Health Center of Buffalo. They have been tremendous in, working with us, as well as Wegmans and Connect Life and the family at the St. John Baptist Church.
Wonderful.
Have really been helpful in helping us put this program together.
Wonderful. Well, Sharon, thank you for being here and teaching us all a little bit more about Sadie Strong. Again, go to the website to learn even more about it, but definitely make sure you're in the space or in the place on Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Reverend Dr. Bennett W. Smith Senior Family Life Center, located at 833 Michigan Avenue. Thanks a lot again for coming, Sharon.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You've been listening to Issues and Views. Issues and Views is Buffalo, New York's weekly public affairs program focusing on topics and concerns that affect you and your community. If you have a topic or concern you'd like to hear discussed, or you're part of a nonprofit organization, business, or have an event you'd like to share information about, please call 716-852-9393. Again, that number is 852-9393. Thanks so much for listening to Issues and Views. The views, opinions, and comments expressed on the program are those of the participants and not necessarily of this station.